OLs, so smile pretty.
Are recording.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Psychology Advising Room. My name is Chrissy Lofgren, and I am one half of the fabulous advising team here at Cal State Monterey Bay for psychology.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica Herrera, and I am the other half of the psychology advising team. Welcome to our orientation advising session. We're going to do a little presentation for you all with helpful information and course recommendations. I know that's what you all are here for. We're also going to show you how to add some classes to your shopping cart, show you our traditional pathway that we have for first-time freshmen. And then at the very end, we'll answer any questions that you might have from the presentation or anything that's been kind of on your brain since you are getting geared up and ready for registration. Please feel free to put your questions in our Q&A feature at the bottom of your Zoom screen. Our awesome OLs will be reading those questions to us at the very end of our presentation. Feel free to throw them in whenever they kind of come to you. And we'll go ahead and get started. So I am going to share my screen. Alrighty. Present. Okay, so welcome everyone.
Welcome, welcome.
I forget who started first yesterday.
Go for it.
Alrighty, so our registration tips for you. These are just a few things to keep in mind while you're getting ready to register for your first semester here at CSUMB. Number one, we just recommend that students typically take 15 to 16 units. That's about 4 or 5 classes, depending on how many units each class is, to help you stay on track to graduate in 4 years. 12 units is considered full-time for housing and financial aid. So it's totally your choice, whatever you feel more comfortable with. We want to make sure that you are good to go, especially since this is your first semester. You don't want to overload yourself with too many units, but 15 or 16 is what we recommend for staying on track. We ask that you load your shopping carts. After this presentation, hopefully you should be ready to go with loading your shopping carts, putting those classes that you're going to take in your cart. And we recommend that you take a few extra classes or add a few extra just in case something that you want to take fills up, because all of our freshmen are going to be registering on the same couple of days. So we want to just make sure that if a class that you want to take fills or there's a wait list for that class, that you have other backup classes just in case. If you can't get into something that we recommend for your first semester, you don't need to worry about that. You can always take it in spring or in summer. The great thing about being a freshman is you have a lot of options and a lot of choices that you're going to be taking in these next couple of years, and you can really take them in any order. So what we're going to show you in the next few slides are recommendations, and you can kind of just pull from those recommendations. Don't forget to start using your CSUMB email only when you're emailing us and when you're talking to other departments. We also recommend that you check it very often because all of the communications from different departments are coming from your CSUMB email. So it's good practice just to get it started.
Okay, so the directed self-placement, we call that DSP, that is for writing and for math. You all have received emails about this. If for some reason you haven't, please email one of us and we will get you a link. We won't be sending this presentation out until Monday after we finish orientation. But again, we're going to send this presentation in a recorded session so that you have all of this to reflect back on. But the DSP, the directed self-placement, is available either on iLearn or Canvas. There's debate about that right now. Yesterday we said it was on iLearn, but again, you will have the link sent to you. And it is required of all students who don't have college or AP credit in English or math. So if you took the AP test and you don't know what your score is yet, we're going to tell you also to hold off on registering for those classes. But if you're pretty sure that you passed that test, you don't have to do this. Here we have the links for the right to register, which is going to determine which written communication course you would take. You're either going to go straight into an A2, which is written communication, or you're going to take a CAD 101A. So in the CAD 101A, you will do in fall semester, and then it automatically enrolls you into CAD 101B for spring semester, and that actually fulfills your A2. So if you're feeling like you need a little bit more help with college writing, then it is not a bad idea to take CAD 101A. in fall, and then CAD 101B in spring. And as far as math, take the test, see where you're at, but no matter what, we want you to take statistics as a psych major. So if you're staying psychology, stats is the major that you need. And if you feel like you need a little bit more help with math, which trust me, I did, you can take the 1-unit support course, which is Stat 10. And a lot of my students have told us that they actually feel that the help support course actually really helped them really get through stats if they were struggling. So just some suggestions. Again, these are actual live links that we are going to send to you just in case you don't have it. And we'll send out this presentation on Monday.
So this is our first slide of a few for suggested first semester courses. So Chrissy kind of already talked about that A2 written communication, and all of these areas that we're talking about are general education. So it's kind of like those requirements you had in high school. You need like a writing, you need a math, you need a science. These are all the different categories, and we break them down by letter kind of groups. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about these classes. You're going to be doing these the first 2 years while you're a freshman and a sophomore. So A2 is our written communication. You can pick from any of those classes that we have listed there. After you do the right to register test, it'll let you know kind of where you place and what class to take. So we recommend you do that. Psych 100 is one of our prerequisites for our major. It's an intro to psychology. Sooner you can take that, the better. So definitely in fall if you can get in. If not, totally okay to take it in spring. We have our first year seminar courses. So these are for really just helping you kind of get more information about being in college, tips to be successful, different resources on campus that will help you be successful. So it's really an awesome class for your first semester. You can pick any of the first year seminar courses that are available. It's totally up to you. The great thing about these classes is they also count for different general education areas like C2 humanities or E area, which is our health and well-being. So you get to double count 2 requirements with that one class. The only reason you won't need to take this class is if you have a lot of AP credits, or if you're coming in with college credits that add up to more than 15 units, then you don't have to take your FYS. But we still recommend you take it anyways, because it is a really great class to kind of help start gearing you up for these college level courses. We talked about math already. In our psychology major, we require that you take Stat 100, and that's going to help clear your B4 math requirement for GE, plus the support class, which is a 1 unit. It's really helpful. And if you're feeling any kind of hesitation about math, we definitely recommend you take that 1 unit class. The last one on this slide is our language requirement. So this one can get a little tricky. We at CSUMB require our students get to the intermediate level of a language other than English. So there's a lot of different ways that you can get to that intermediate level. If you have no experience, you didn't take anything in high school, or you did take it, but maybe you're not too confident about what you learned in high school, we offer 4 languages here at CSUMB. So American Sign Language, Japanese, Italian, and Spanish. The very first level that you can possibly take is 101. So if you have, again, no experience, you're starting fresh, you're going to take one of those levels, 101. If you've taken AP Spanish or French or Japanese or some kind of other language and in high school, and you got a score of 4 or 5, then you have completely fulfilled the language requirement and you're all done. You don't have to take any more language. If you got a 3, then chat with us. Usually that'll clear like the second level of the language, but you might need 1 more semester. So just chat with us if you're not sure. If you don't have your AP scores yet, like we said earlier, then just hold off on taking your language. You don't have to start this first semester. If you have some Spanish in your background, or if you took it in high school and you think you learned it pretty well, but you're not too sure, we do have a placement test that you can take, and there's a link right there. It's like a quick 15-minute test that'll let you know what level of Spanish specifically that you test into. We only have a test for Spanish right now. And then if you're fluent in another language or fluent in Spanish, definitely check in with us. There's a couple different classes that we have for Spanish speakers and also for other fluent in other languages that you can take as your language requirement. So check in with your advisor for those options.
Excellent. So some other suggested first semester courses, and again, we are not suggesting that you take all of these classes first semester. You couldn't anyways, but we just like you to have options. So another option for you is A1, which is oral communication. HCOM 110 is a really good option. A3, critical thinking. You can either choose from HCOM 200 or HCOM 202. B1, physical science. Literally, you can take whatever you want, but Chem 109, Environmental Science 282, or Physics 121, especially environmental science and physics are geared more towards non-science majors. But again, you get to pick your poison. Whatever class you want to take is up to you. You can also do something from B2, B3. That is the life science requirement. Psych 110 you can typically take, but right now we have it in white because that class is already full for fall semester. But you could take environmental science, ENVS 201, and that meets B2 and B3. So it's a double dipper, knocking out 2 GEs.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty, and just to add more options for you, we have one more slide. So these are all, again, general education that you have to take your first couple of years. We have C1, which is arts, and we didn't put any recommendations on there because there's a lot of choices for you to pick from. So you can pick anything from that list. We have civics and lower division service learning. So this one you're actually going at, well, typically in a non-COVID world, you're going out into the community and providing service hours at some kind of institution or place in our local community. Because of all of the pandemic, you know, they're still offering those classes and you are still doing service hours, but it's been virtual. So we're not too sure what fall is going to look like for those classes, but that is an option. Again, you can always wait and take that later. Lifelong learning and self-development, we talked about a little earlier with the FYS. There's also other options like a wellness class that you can take. That's just kind of some self-development there. We have an ethnic studies class. And again, there's a lot of options. You can pick anything from that list. And the last one is US history. So we listed a few of the classes that will meet that requirement, and you can again take any of those classes. So you have a lot of options for your first semester. So we want you to not feel overwhelmed, but honestly, just think about it as you're going to be taking all of these at some point. So we just want you to kind of fill in your semester with 4 or 5 classes, depending on how comfortable you are with all of these options that we gave you so that you have a full schedule.
Yep. So I know we touched a little bit on AP scores with the language, but if any of you do have any AP scores or college credit, oftentimes we find that high school counselors have you apply as a freshman, but when you've done a dual enrollment program and you're coming in with 40 to 50 college units, you are not a freshman. You are quite possibly a transfer, a junior. So if you find yourself in that category and you know that you have some college credit, definitely reach out to one of us and we'll make sure that we can steer you in the right direction so that you know what classes to stay away from and what classes to take. But if you passed an AP exam with a 3 or higher, like Jessica said earlier, you do have college credit. So again, just make sure you check in with us. And if you're not sure, like many of you have taken AP Psych or AP Written Communication, and you're not quite sure how you place because you're not going to have your scores yet, let's just avoid taking Psych 100 and A2 for fall semester then, and so because we don't want you to repeat anything. And like the previous slides before, you have a ton of options to choose from. So we'll have you do art instead or history and stuff like that. And we'll talk about it when your AP scores get in the system.
Alrighty, so just some important dates and reminders for you. July 6th is when registration begins. It's important to note that everybody is going to have a different time on that day to register. So we're going to show you where to find that on your Oasis homepage. For some of you that may have taken some classes at community college or AP or things like that, you might need permission codes to get into some classes. So try to get those codes as soon as possible. We'll show you how to validate, but most of you are not going to need codes. So don't worry about that too much. We will be available via email before and after and during registration. So definitely check in with us if you're feeling a little confused or lost. We're hoping that this presentation will help you a little bit, but I know that it can be overwhelming your first semester. So bear with us and reach out if you have any questions. July 30th is the last day to pay registration, tuition, and fees. So if you're paying out of pocket, you're not getting financial aid or something like that, then you need to make sure that you have some kind of payment in place by July 30th. And that information can be found on our website as well, and setting up those payment plans and things like that. August 23rd is the first day of classes. So whether you're virtual or whether you are going to be on campus, everything kind of kicks off on August 23rd. So just kind of keep that on your calendar. And September 7th is the last day to add or drop classes. So all the way from registration up until September 7th, you can make adjustments and changes to your schedule in Oasis. After that date, you're locked in to whatever classes are in your Oasis account. So we want to just make sure that everything is set and ready to go. Please don't wait until the first 2 weeks to add and drop classes, because that's going to be pretty tough to get in. But if you need to make adjustments, or something comes up and you need to change things, then that's the time to do it. After that, it gets really challenging and you have to fill out paperwork and get it approved. Your learning plan is actually going to be in Oasis. We recommend that you meet with us during your first semester so that we can kind of go over the learning plan with you. Your learning plan is basically your guide to what you're going to be taking the next few semesters, what requirements you need. And it gives you like a typical kind of, this is how we recommend you take these classes. But Chrissy and I will both tell you, and we keep saying in this presentation, it's really up to you when and how you take the classes. So the learning plan is there as a guide. We're here as a guide, but ultimately you're making all of those choices for yourself. Plans will not be correct until we get all of your AP scores, final transcripts, and after you register for your first semester. So we're asking to hold off on making those appointments for learning plans until probably like August, or like we said, in the first semester. We are going to be available via Zoom, email, and phone for the fall semester, as far as we know. So email is always the best way to get a hold of Chrissy or myself. We're both pretty quick at responding. So if any questions come up, or if you're not quite sure how to do something, or where to go for questions that you have, you can always check in with me or with Chrissy. And last, we just really recommend you check in with us every semester, especially while you're becoming familiar with all of these systems and acronyms that we have for you. We just ask that you check in with us every semester to make sure that you're off on a good foot, and that you're getting the classes that you need. You're not taking anything extra that you don't need, and that you are staying on task. We really just want to make sure that you are you're doing well in your first couple semesters, especially, and as you kind of continue in your program. So once a semester, if you can, if not every other semester, just like once a year at least, to make sure you're staying on track.
So here is some helpful links. Again, we are sending out this presentation on Monday, so you'll have all of these, but we've got links to your catalog, to the psych pathways, to some psych frequently asked questions. A few years ago, which actually, because we haven't worked together now for a year and a half, we did a Q&A session, and we taped that, so you can watch that. We have a link to the advising page, academic requirements report, course search, how do I add classes, how do I validate my classes, and a link to the video tutorials. Again, we've sent all these links in email, but we know that this is a lot of information and it's all new for all of you. So these links will help. We are here to help. We just want to make sure that you've got everything in one spot. So, don't panic. You got this. We want you to be the dancing happy chicken with the sunglasses on, and not the angry little girl beating up her bunny. So Jessica and myself, that is our job. We are here to help you. We're here to guide you. We are not here to pick your classes for you, but we've both been doing this for a really long time. We know what we're doing, and we want to help you. So again, I'm A through L last name. There's my email information, Jessica M through Z. Hopefully you all have that information, because we've been email blasting you several times now. But if you need to get a hold of us, please reach out. We will be out here virtually.
Awesome. All righty.
And now,
share.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to show you is course pathways, and then we'll jump into adding some classes and showing you how to search for classes. So let's see if Chrissy can do this correctly.
And we have sent this out and we're going to send this out again. So it's just a general guide to show you kind of what your next 4 years are going to look at CSUMB. But it is very generic and kind of just like a general plan. So of course, we're going to tailor your plan to you specifically when we meet and create your learning plan on Oasis.
Correct. So I almost clicked the wrong one. There we go. So this is the 4-year plan. Of course, it all starts out with first year seminar. It tells you, oh, look, there's an A1 class, maybe do language, Psych 100. If you can't get into Psych 100 first semester, again, don't panic. You can take it in spring. Unlike high school where everything is pretty much semester long, here it's, or year long, here it's semester long. So you're like done in 15, 16 weeks. So a lot of things can be moved around, like you can do ethnic studies your first semester, you can do A2 or health. So there's lots of options. And again, we do not expect you to follow this pathway, but I know some people are visual and they like to see this. So again, we're sending this out in an email. And now we're going to show you what it looks like when you're in your Oasis Student Center. So this is Monty. This is Monty's Student Center. For you, on the right-hand side, you will have a button. Since Monty already registered, because Monty's a continuing student, you will have a button that says enrollment date and time. And your date, again, will be July 6th, and your time will be anywhere from 8 or 9 in the morning to sometime in the afternoon. So everybody's going to register at different times, and we want to make sure that you are ready to go when it is your registration time. So a few things we'd like to show you is how to load your shopping cart. So let's start with plan. Jessica and I like to use the plan screen for multiple reasons. So you're going to just come up here, you're going to click plan, and it takes you to the shopping cart. So what we want to do is hit search, this big green button. And Jessica, what would you like me to search for?
Let's search for Psych 100.
Hey, there's a novel idea. That way we can take Psych 100, see if we like it or not, and maybe change majors or maybe stay. So since we know exactly what we're searching for, we can type in 100 right here, but you don't have to do that either. You can just leave it blank and you could click under course career undergrad and hit the search button, and it brings up every single psychology class. So the very first one we want, Psych 100. And if you want to know what it's about, you'll click here. It's a 3-unit course, distance learning, asynchronous. That means that it's going to be completely online. Mm-hmm. So Dr. Grobman is teaching it. It tells you that it meets the DGSS requirement for social science, and it gives you a little course synopsis down here. You're like, yep, that's the one I want. You're going to hit select class. You're going to hit next. Welcome to having your first class in your shopping cart. But what if I want to search for one of the general education classes?
So in that case,
we're going to hit search again.
Course attribute.
General education. What would you like me to search for?
Let's do a C1 art.
C1 art, and then hit search. And again, it brings up every single open art class. So that way you know you're actually taking an art class. So it doesn't matter what the name of the course is, what the number is. When you search this way, you know whether it's CART 231 or CART 230 or CART 228, it all meets C area. Yep. So one of the popular classes is Movie Mania. That seems to be popular. What is Movie Mania? Gives you a little course synopsis down here. Gangsta movies, spaghetti westerns. Oh, room number, CAUS 504. So that means this is in the CAUS building, which is one of our newer buildings. It's beautiful. And it's in lecture room 1401. So that's how you know that this class is actually on campus. So let's select it because that sounds like a heck of a lot of fun. It is Mondays from 2 to 4:50. Next, and now you've got 2 classes in your shopping cart.
Okay.
Excellent. How about we add language?
There you go.
How about let's search, I think I really want to do Espanol. And let's check. And you know, I really don't have any good Spanish under my belt, so I think I'm going to have to start at the beginning level. And I'm a super morning person. We're going to do 8 a.m. Yep. Oh, humanities. Okay. And that one is synchronous, so it's not on campus. Need to be on Zoom or Canvas 8 to 9:20 on Mondays and Wednesdays. So let's hit next.
All right.
So one of the things you need to know is that if you do choose Spanish 101, you're going to need a permission code. How do we know that? Because the World Languages and Cultures likes you to take that little quiz that Jessica talked about earlier. And the way you can find out if you need codes is right here on the left-hand side. You click these little boxes when you're in the plan screen, and you're going to hit this middle button. You're going to validate. Awesome. And it's going to say, I'm okay to add these two. Oh, department consent. That's right. They talked about that. So then you would email World Languages and Cultures, ask for a permission code. But let's say it's your time to register. Let's register. It is 10 o'clock in the morning on the 6th. What do I do? We always suggest in the plan screen, because we want you to have some of those extra classes in here, like a health class and a history class and an A2 class. And when you see green under status, you know it's open. If you see blue, it's closed. So then you can just click the boxes for the classes that you want to register for. You're going to hit enroll, and you're going to hit finish enrolling. And when we get green check marks, we have our first college classes. You can hit my class schedule, and it tells you your classes. And if you're visual, you can do weekly calendar, and it puts it in a calendar for you.
Perfect.
So pretty straightforward. Anything else you'd like me to show them, Miss Jessica?
Should we show a requirements page or?
That's exactly what I was going to go for. So when you go back to the home screen on Oasis, there's again, a lot of good information here. After you register, this is where it's going to show you what you owe. You can look at your financial aid. Right now, we just want to go to this drop-down menu. We want academic requirements and hit that little arrow. And every time you meet with Jessica or myself, I will guarantee you we are going to have this screen up. This is what we go by for graduation. This is what Jessica and I go by for advising. So this is a really good tool to learn how to use. There's your catalog year, which is important. This is where your GPA will go. And when we scroll down, we see this little menu here. Green means you've met the requirement if you have college credit or AP scores. Yellow means you've registered and you're actually in that class for fall. And red means you need it. And we expect there to be a lot of red because you're just getting here. So there's your first A1 requirement, and it gives you a list of options. There's your A2, written communication, A3. And again, this is all your general education that you need to fulfill to get your bachelor's degree. There's the science we talked about, life science, physical science, and you can kind of scroll through here, get used to it. There's the art class that we just registered for, yellow, in progress, humanities. Oh, look, psychology, in progress. Perfect. So again, really good tool. Get to know it, play around on it, and let me show you one more thing. I just thought of something else too. We should show them how to find FYS. So you want to hit search. And this time, let's just go under subject again. First year seminar. And first year seminar, there's going to be multiple GEs that it covers. So we're just going to type in first year seminar, undergrad, hit search. And now you can see all of the first year seminar classes that we offer. And a lot of them you can tell have themes. So introduction to environmental science. So this one not only is going to cover FYS, it's also going to cover B2 and B3. So it's almost a triple dipper. If you want to do something a little different, eat, love, learn. That sounds phenomenal. What is that about? Ooh, that covers health and first year seminar. Select class, and there you have it. So again, play with it, start loading your shopping carts. We want you to get used to this because you're going to do it every semester that you're here. And there you have it. How about some preguntas, ladies?
Yeah, let's do it.
And please feel free to ask your questions.
There's quite a few in the Q&A.
Good.
First one, I have sent in my final transcript. So should I wait to pick some of my classes after my transcript has been evaluated? That way I could get more accurate class recommendations based on what I've completed.
I'm not sure who asked this question, but if you are a transfer student, which it's kind of sounding like, please reach out to your advisor because this is a freshman orientation and all of this information does not pertain to you. If I'm wrong and I'm reading that wrong, your high school transcript won't matter. It's your AP scores will matter. So actually that question can be answered two ways. So, and if that doesn't clear it up, please put that in the chat and we'll be happy to answer that for you.
Yeah, so I think Sarah, I think you're one of mine if your last name is Tanner. So go ahead and reach out to me and we can kind of chat this next week about what we should do with your schedule if we need to.
When is the last day to register for classes?
So the
So
last
technically, we want you, if you're.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. No, go ahead. It's your turn.
Okay. So you, we really want you to register that week of registration as soon as possible, just because classes are going to be filling up, and we want you to get the best schedule possible for yourself. So we encourage you to register as soon as possible. It's going to be open, most of summer. There is a kind of window where they do shut down Oasis, and you can't make adjustments to your schedule during that time. And then it opens up again when the semester starts. And again, you have that first 2 weeks to add drop classes. So that's like a long answer to say, you have until that September 7th to make adjustments to your schedule, but that's cutting it really close, and that you're missing essentially 2 weeks of class if you wait until that second week. So, so definitely register as soon as possible, if you can.
Next question. Should we pick classes we find interesting or classes that help us with our future career?
I think you can find both of those, hopefully. For instance, if you're looking for first year seminar, pick one that you find interesting. And depending on what your future career is, that might be a little bit harder because it kind of depends on what your future career is. If you want to be a counselor, or if you want to be a teacher, we may have classes that gear towards that, but definitely have a conversation with one of us. Again, we've been here for a while, so we know the classes in and out, and we can make some suggestions for you if you want some suggestions, but definitely choose classes that interest you.
Next one. What do the different numbers at the end mean? For example, HCOM 243 and HCOM 265.
So the different numbers mean different classes. They're going to be, have different content and cover different materials. They might be in the same category, but they're going to be completely different classes. So the numbers kind of help you differentiate each class.
If we take it next semester, Psych 100, is it going to be in person?
That is a good question. Let me get out my crystal ball. I hope it's going to be in person. I'm hoping the way things are looking after all the announcements that came down this week that it's going to be in person, but I cannot 100% guarantee that. I hope it will be, because I think it's going to look a little differently in January. But this semester it is online. And remember, you are not just I hate to say competing with just psych majors to take intro to psych, but because psychology fulfills a general education requirement, every major can take intro to psych. So you might not get into it for fall. And again, that's okay. You can take it in spring.
Yeah. My computer's making that funny noise again. So do you want me to cover?
Yeah, it's fun. I took intro to psychology in my senior year at a community college. So what does that mean for me?
So as long as you pass the class with, as long as you pass the class and you send in your transcripts, you do not have to retake it here at CSUMB. You're all done with that requirement. And then we'll have you move on to the next prerequisite, which is Stat 100. So make sure you send in your transcripts to us, your final transcripts from the community college, so that you can get credit for that.
Excellent.
How do we find out who our advisor is?
Well, if you're A through L last name, you're stuck with me.
And
if you're M through Z, You get the lovely Jessica. We're
Yeah.
also flexible because we know that there are certain students that, and again, Jessica and I are a team, and don't be emailing both of us at the same time, because then both of us are trying to answer your questions. Either email her or email myself, but you can choose who you want to go to, but technically on paper, I'm A through L, she's M through Z.
Where do we mail our transcript?
So you'll mail it to our admissions office or records. Our mailing address is on the website, or you can send them. Sometimes you can send them electronically. It just depends. But admissions would be the person or the office to send them to for your first semester.
I finished all my lower division courses last semester. Does that mean I will be taking Psych 300 courses?
So I'm assuming we're talking to a junior at freshman orientation. Yes, so actually you're gonna have different requirements, and everything that we talked about in this presentation doesn't really pertain to you. So I would say reach out to one of us, either Jessica or myself, so that we can get you the presentation, which actually we emailed it out to every single transferring junior on Monday last week. No, Monday after orientation. So you should already have a recorded session and our presentation, which was geared towards transfer students. So, but if not, please email one of us and we'll make sure that you get that.
Yep.
Good questions.
I'm doing summer bridge for EOP, and we're taking a course for 4 weeks, which is FYS 146. So would I have to take FYS classes for the fall semester?
No, you're going to be all done. So you get a little edge up with that FYS class. So you don't have to worry about any more FYS. Just focus on those other GE areas that we talked about.
Excellent.
Is it possible to take my whole first semester in person? I really struggle online, so I'd prefer in person.
Hopefully, I do know that there are quite a bit of freshman classes, like for instance, math, Stat 100. I didn't see any that were online. So I believe there's quite a few FYS that are on campus, and I do believe there's quite a few English classes. And because you're a freshman and you have so many requirements to take, absolutely you can cater it so that you're on campus. And I totally get that. Jessica and I have seen so many students over this last year and my gosh, almost a half, that have struggled with online. They don't like it. It's not the same. So absolutely, if you can get almost all of them perhaps on campus, and then maybe if you only have to do one online, maybe that would make a big difference too, because you could like go to the library and take the class. So, but yeah, I think you'll have good odds of finding in class for freshmen on campus.
Awesome. So I noticed a couple students are sorry, Courtney. I noticed a couple of students are asking about appointments and meeting with us. So we do have some appointments open in the next couple of weeks, but not everybody will be able to meet with us before registration. So best thing to do is to email us and let us know kind of your questions and situation. And then once we get that information from you, Chrissy or myself can kind of look at our calendars and see where we can fit you in if we need to before registration. We should definitely be able to answer your questions before registration, but a full like 30-minute meeting may or may not happen. So just make sure you reach out and we can, we'll definitely take care of you, make sure you're all set.
Yeah, if you just communicate with us, we are out here virtually and we will answer your questions. So did we get all the questions?
There's one more. How do you know when CSUMB received the final transcripts from both my high school and the community college, because it's on my applicant dashboard? It says they're required.
They should be received, but just because you send them doesn't mean they're input into the system yet. But that's something that Jessica and myself can check. So if you're uncertain, especially your college credit is not here, please reach out to one of us, especially again, if you have college credit that you may not be needing to take some of those general education classes. So go ahead and reach out to whoever, one of us, not both, but one of us. I know we keep saying that, but in the past, students have emailed both of us and we didn't know that they were emailing both of us, and we're both answering the same question, and that's taking away time from other students. So please just find one or the other. Again, we're both really good. We've been doing this for a really long time. So please reach out.
Yep.
And thank you, you fabulous presentation leaders, my psych
Yeah.
peeps. Any more questions? I guess not.
All right. Well, we hope that this was helpful to you all. Like Chrissy mentioned, we're going to be sending a recording of one of our sessions to you on Monday. So keep an eye out for that if you need some refreshers on what we covered. Also, make sure you're checking your CSUMB email. If you haven't already set that up, or if you're not sure quite how to start that, definitely reach out. It's on your CSUMB dashboard. It's really easy to get started. So just make sure you ask about that. We are going to be sending it through email. All of our communications with you all are in email for now. So keep an eye on your CSUMB email. You all should have access to that. And so it's just a matter of setting it up and checking it. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or Chrissy. We're here for you. We have a couple weeks before you register, so we have time to get you all sorted. Just make sure you reach out, start building your shopping carts, fitting those classes in that we mentioned.
Yes.
Even if you're not like 100% sure what you're doing or what classes, if you follow the slides and the recommendations we gave you, you can't really go wrong. But we're always here to check and make sure. And like we said, we have the whole summer to kind of get you situated. So do your best, pick out classes that sound interesting to you, and reach out if you need anything.
And thank you all for being here today. And again, if there's any questions that you didn't ask yet or we didn't get to, please reach out to us. And we look forward to actually meeting you in person someday. Yeah. Coming to our office, wherever that may be, in the library or someplace else, and meeting you all in person. Thank you for being here. Welcome to Psych. And remember, you're freshmen. If you get into Psych and it may not be the right major for you, that is okay too. Please speak to us. We've advised for undeclared for a lot of years, Jessica and myself. And so we are well versed in all the other majors, and we are happy to help you on whatever journey that is. Yep. So thank you for being here.
Yeah. Thank you, y'all. Have a good rest of your day.
All right. Thanks, ladies. Take care. Enjoy. On to the next session.